We are live. All right. Hey, good evening, everyone. Dave Wilson of the Ring of Hire Show. Hey, tonight here, my great colleague Matt Looney in Florida, and for Aston Carter. And I'll get this one right this time, Matt, for accounting and finance recruiting. How's that?
Good. You hit it right on the head, Dave. How you doing today?
Good, good. Hey, me and Matt wanted to talk tonight about LinkedIn and some of the great features and what you can really utilize at your and for your strengths, for your job searches and all that. But you know the drill. We'll be right back after this video. Oh, come on. What kind of review do I get on that one, baby? that cost me $17.99.
Can't beat that. I had somebody try to offer me one for $200 a month.
Yeah, he does a great
Really good
job.
platform, but
yeah, we make like two different things back and forth. We've done it so long, like 25 videos right now. So he knows what I like, and I like that crazy music, man. It sounds like you're gothic and everything. So, Matt, when I reached out to you, I wanted to talk to you tonight about LinkedIn itself and if you utilize it to its full potential. And we talked about this before. I'll tell you, after really deep diving into every little functions, I think at high school, I believe in high school and college, they should start you to make these profiles.
yeah, for sure. It's funny though because I think when it first came out, like I don't even know, I want to say 10 or 12 years ago,
Right.
there are people that made a profile and then just kind of dropped off of it, and I come across those all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the kids now, I call them kids, but even coming out of college, I mean, we said this, I even said this, I'm sorry, before about even, you really don't even need a resume anymore. Every single thing on here is for their employer to look at, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you say about the kids in colleges. When we have roles for recent grads, first thing I do is find local schools and look for somebody that's graduating. It's about that time of year too, to go through and like, hey, University of North Florida, Jacksonville University, class of 2022, getting ready to graduate. And we have a lot of jobs that are specifically entry level looking for college grads that are looking for a career path. So
right through there,
you can target right there to them.
Do you see a lot of on LinkedIn that age bracket coming out of college, Matt, for your industry?
I do. For our industry, especially, I think the accounting and finance people, I don't know if it's a taught thing or it's just most of them all grew up with 10 different forms of social media. And so to have another one is just something. And if it's going to help excel their career, it's probably something that's good for them.
Well, that's what I mean. Because, we take things for granted, but even on the phone, I mean, there you go. You got your profile name. You have your title underneath. That's the most important thing. Those first three words, your title, states right out what you are. And I was reading about the headshot. You need to actually put a face. Would you recognize? It was a good one. Would you recognize a LinkedIn person if you saw their profile? You knew them. Would you recognize them on the street? But a nice profile headshot. Underneath there now, what you can put that 30-second video.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but
No.
I've seen that.
I mean, what a way to, let's face it. I mean, a lot of people say, oh, I don't like to do the video part like that. Well, don't do it. But it's there for a reason. And I see a lot of people utilizing it for the spelling of their name.
Yeah.
I've seen some.
Definitely makes sense with that whole video feature. And if it's the first time you go to somebody's profile, it automatically runs.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been to that person's profile and you're looking into them, they can put up a 30-second. For us, we're looking for people and we
Right.
can announce that. But if somebody's looking for a role or they want you to know what they do and more than, however many characters, it'll be like, my name is this is what I do, or this is what I'm looking for.
That's
And
it.
it's very personable.
It is. And I told you May 11th, I'm lucky, John Stemley, I bought his book and he's going to be on the show. I bought it on Amazon and he's actually on LinkedIn. So May 11th, I'm going to have you on with him. He's pretty awesome. This book, it's really 60 Days to LinkedIn Mastery. He gives you a lot of great information, homework, and then really a lot of good suggestions to try to do that I didn't realize, that you could do on there. But what I also like is, besides the video, they were talking about the background, just that simple background. Some people don't think it's as important. But like he states in here, it's like telling you, all right, man, you got $50,000 to put up on that billboard. What's it going to be? Now you created, I know you're going to tell me, was it Canvas?
Yeah.
So you can go to Canvas and create your own background.
Yeah, you can do that. There's some other ones that I found that are more specific to LinkedIn. I use the free version of it, but there are other companies that do them, and there's also paid versions. One of the things I was looking at for videos that I've done is putting frames around them or having graphics pop up. Again, right now I like to keep it low budget,
Right.
but there are a lot of options. One of the coolest things that I actually recently saw, and I'm not sure if you've seen this yet, is you might be able to do it from your laptop, but from your phone, you can send a URL video to somebody directly that you're connected with.
You can send that through the messenger, right?
Through Messenger, yeah.
Through Messenger, yeah.
You can send a voicemail. You can set an appointment. So if you want to set like a virtual meeting with somebody,
Yep.
you can do that right through there. And then you can also send like a quick video. So instead of like, hey, a little message, boom, you pop up there and be like, hey, how you doing? I'm Matt from Aston Carter. I'd like to talk to you about this opportunity we have. And I think that's really cool.
Do you think that'll really grow for your field, or?
Well, it's one of those things. We'll see. I know when one of the shows we talked about, change, and one of the things with change was social media. There are recruiters out there on TikTok all day, and they get people hitting them back on TikTok. There's people that put QR codes either on their website or even on LinkedIn. A QR code, hey, easy apply. Just scan this code with your phone.
Scan the code,
and it brings you right to an application page. So I think LinkedIn is probably better than we think when it comes to technology, because I try to figure out as much as I can, but they're always doing something new. And to the point, 2 weeks ago they changed it from views to things to engagements.
Engagements. I saw that, and then they can give you can get the actually you can get all the what do you call it, the analytics. Yeah. And I saw that, because what I do like about it is, like I told my daughter, I said, you're getting on this thing. I don't care if you're only 25, 26 years old. You got your awesome picture, your background, what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Listen, I don't like it. Is it for professionals? Yes. In my book, everybody's a professional. If you're working, you're in a job, you're a professional.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't mean that if you're not a professional, you can't be on LinkedIn. That's totally wrong. It's your stamp. It's your business card. And what a way to do it, to add your profile, your education, your position. Then they have a section for your skills, the career break, where it's basically where you can put your resume. All the courses. It's got your recommendations for when you recommend people. Volunteer experience, that's important. add publications, add patents, all within that first little section. All that.
Everything. Not to mention similar interests.
The what?
You know, if you're following like the same, if you follow like the same people
Oh yeah.
or companies or groups,
Yep.
which is always an easy way to connect to somebody.
Yeah.
Education's great. Hey, we both went to the same college. You know, that's always a good way to connect. But it's like, hey, I noticed you're a fan of Elon Musk or ABC company or whatever things you have in common. On the business side of things, it's an icebreaker.
Because you
And
put that up in the top corner, right? It's like you went to Penn State. If you did, it'll have the
yeah,
alumni. It has the alumni all the way up
well,
there.
that's for the colleges. But anybody that at the bottom of the page, it shows who that person's following in common with you.
Okay. All right, that's right.
So even if you don't go to the same school or but just any commonality, I think, with people, especially if you use it in our world where we are using it to message people, it kind of breaks up the monotony of like, hey, who's this random guy
Yeah.
sending me a message? You can be like, hey, I see you're a big fan of this, so am I.
Right.
Would love to meet with you. We could talk business, but we can also talk about our college rivalry or
College.
whatever.
And then what I also, a lot of people complain about like the spam, and I mean, you're going to have that anywhere. You're going to have, you just basically know, like, do I like when somebody for a sales things connects with me? Boom. I usually don't do that. I like to be able to just follow their posts for a little bit, like them, get to know, because you can really, I told you, that's how I got to know you. If you really scroll down through somebody's page that's active on LinkedIn, you can tell a lot about the person.
For sure.
Everything about the person.
And going back to the spam thing, because I'm sure there's people that think some of my messages are spam, and they may come across that way. But also, if you read their page and tailor the message directly to them, it shouldn't come across that way.
Right.
One of the biggest things I get from being on a podcast with you or doing my videos is actually job offers from other companies.
Yep.
Now, most of the time, people don't take the time to read my title or what I do, and they just send me a generic thing that they send over to everybody. Right. And one of the things that I laugh about is recruiters with uncapped commissions for a firm. Well, if you're working in staffing that has any sort of commission base, why would you work for a company that does capping on your commissions?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
It's like you guys are sending it out there, and you should know your audience. If you're trying to recruit a recruiter for your job,
right?
Be original. Do something that not everybody else is doing.
Well, I told my daughter, she's like, "Well, Dad, who do I like try to connect?" I said, "Take Facebook, Natasha." I said, "Take Facebook and just look at it like, you reach out to." She works at Tractor Supply, so start reaching out to other people at Tractor Supply, other states, different areas, say, "Hey," and you might have different ideas what they do. And she's like, but I said, you got to start to, it's just networking. Like, post something about your job. There's nothing wrong about anybody. Everybody says, well, once you're on LinkedIn, what do you do? Well, you do what you do. Some people utilize it for your work. I utilize it for the podcast. But you can really tailor anything on LinkedIn here to what you want. That's the best thing about this platform.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, you can find networking groups to find things that you have in common with people. Or if you're new to a city, you could say, hey, I work in, I'm a CPA. When I was living in, Washington, I was part of this network group. You can find their local chapter without having to go search the internet for it. You could just literally Google it. And I'm almost going to guarantee you most networking groups that are professional based and even some that are volunteer based.
There's a lot of them.
Page.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's. Do you like the feature? Listen, I do. I used it. I like that feature, open to work. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. A lot of people say, oh, I wouldn't put that on me. Well, then don't find a new job. Let's just say the worst I say that can happen from that is, man, on a Sunday or a Monday, you could just get that one person. All it takes is, wow, boom. But what I like about it as a recruiter is if you were to type in open to work, and then you got the world there, baby.
Yeah.
Open to work. What areas? What connections? How many? What the people? People don't realize when you start clicking on that, how many people and accountants you could bring up that are open to work.
Yeah.
They're right there. All it
You
takes
don't
is a
have to look for
message.
them.
No, it's a lot. I don't know if people use it that way or not.
I do.
Yeah.
If I do a search, if I'm looking for a financial analyst, for example, and I do a search in the Jacksonville market, they want somebody from a construction background. There's filters for everything.
Right.
I can put that construction filter on there, and then I put the hashtag open to work in my search.
Yep.
It'll put those people right at the top, and then I know before I send, what some people call spam or a message to them, I know either one of two things. They're looking for a job, a
Right.
different role, or they just haven't updated their LinkedIn.
Yep.
And it happens, but most people when they don't do that are rude about it. Whereas like if you just unsolicited be like, hey, I noticed you're a financial analyst. Can I interest you in another job? That comes across spammy. When I see, hey, I saw your ring saying you're open to work. I have an opportunity. Do you want to connect and discuss it?
And that's got to be that you could. That's free. That's free.
Free,
You know,
free. Yeah.
free. And that's what I mean. And people don't realize also, they can put things about themselves. I've said it before, and a couple of people do it. They put a picture of themselves and then right underneath it, just basically what their likes are, what they do about themselves. It doesn't have to be a video, and put that right in there. You'd be surprised how many people I always comment for like especially I don't know if you've noticed, but my God, my feed is nothing but congratulations, congratulations. 10 million people are finding jobs on this thing.
Yeah.
It's all day long. Congratulations. But
Yeah, it's definitely a great tool for that. And then, you know, when you find something, usually people have friends that are looking for
yeah,
jobs too, and they may not be on LinkedIn. So
nope,
if you connect with them, they could be like, hey, you give your personal information out to them, and then they can have other people reach out to you. And
yep,
some people I've literally until we set up like the interview process, we go back and forth on LinkedIn because the message feature is just like sending a text message. I get an alert
yep,
on my phone.
yep,
Um, I have it up all day on my computer. And even if I'm like, I use a headset when I'm talking to people, I get a little ding, really high pitched thing that says, you got a message on LinkedIn. So in real time, even if I'm having a conversation, I could say, oh, Dave sent me a message. What's Dave up to today? Or,
what's yeah,
hey, so and so sent me a message. They're looking for a role. My next phone call is going to be to that person instead of waiting and
yeah.
sitting there. You know.
And they
So
don't realize some people when they're. I always hear people, well, I'm gonna start looking for a new job. I'm gonna start sprucing up my LinkedIn, start doing all this. It's like, nah, you should be on it at least once a week. Do a post or something.
yeah,
Do something about your job. Do something about what you've done. It doesn't have to be Facebooky if you want to call it or something like that. But anything, when you can literally write a blog or anything, an article, and copy and paste, really,
yeah.
and it's your article. People don't realize how powerful that looks. Utilizing Grammarly. That's what I love.
I
But
just downloaded it today.
oh, I pay for that grammar. I pay for that. The most of it. It's like I think it's $200 some a year or something like that. Oh, it's the best. Oh my god.
Yeah, I downloaded the free one because I've had some comments, and I know,
Yep.
especially when I get excited about posting a video that I really like,
Yep.
I don't proofread as well as I probably should, and I do it on my phone. And
They'll call
sometimes
you
I
out on it. Your
what?
friends will call you. Your friends call you out on it.
Oh, I get it all the time. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna who calls me out on it, but she calls me out and says, "Go fix your post." And I'm like,
Yeah.
not. I mean, it's not an every time thing, but there's
Yeah.
times she does. And even ironically, my last video, I don't know if you saw it, about questions to ask for a culture fit for a job. Um, and part of the reason I'm working where I am is because the supervisor that I work for right now, we worked together 10 years ago,
Right.
and we're connected on Facebook, we were friends, but also on LinkedIn. But we were both at the time LinkedIn was still kind of new, and when I started looking for a new job, I would see the post of the things that they would do, not necessarily at work, but they would celebrate work
Right.
milestones by going to Top Golf, by going out to a nice dinner, team lunch at so and so's birthday. And I was like, man, what a cool company that seems like. I'm gonna go work for them and have fun while I'm working. And that is a lot of the reason why I got into staffing, was because of the posts that I would see on LinkedIn.
Well, there's this guy, Friends of Pete, it's called. It's a group. You join it for networking. Once a month, Pete puts out there where it's going to be. It's at a bar or restaurant for 4 hours. Come anytime. Let me tell you, you better be there early. Well,
Yeah.
he doesn't tell you where it's at, but it's in the Lehigh Valley, and they have it right at those spots. And I'll tell you what, my first couple of times, that's where you really network. Because as soon as I went there, I went back home, and then I look them up on LinkedIn and connect right on there. But that's what a lot of people don't realize too is, follow the companies that you really want to work for.
Yeah.
Because this is the things that people don't realize. I always like using Coca-Cola and Pepsi. One of them's hiring. Guess what? They post. You always see all the top companies posting.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's something we talked about. I think on one of our earlier podcasts is, if you're looking for a job and you're connected with people at that company, tag those people. Be like, hey, I'm looking for a new role. Would love to work for, Coke. And then, Joey works over there, and Stacy, and then tag the people that you know.
Yep.
And they could be like, hey, this person has great experience. Go to their HR people and be like, hey, we need to get this guy or girl working with us, because not only are they looking for a job, they've already expressed they want to work for us. And hey, we looked at their profile,
right,
and their experience matches exactly what we need.
It does. And again, it's free. Free. I would be on LinkedIn all the time I'm always on LinkedIn, but when it comes to work, I think this is the greatest place to show what you're about. Let's face it, if you're getting things done, if you've accomplished something, that should be on your page. Something that you've accomplished under featured. That featured, I like that up there, because you can put stuff that, guess what, that you're proud of, that you've accomplished, anything in your within your career. That's the first thing that somebody's going to look at you. Like mine. I'll tell you, my biggest success was utilizing social media with Facebook when I learned it, to bring in 500 to 800 candidates.
Yeah.
And how I did it and how it worked, not bragging, but how our team did it, how we all did it then, because it wasn't just me, it took everybody.
Yeah.
And when
we did 500 people by yourself.
When we did that, we were able, just because I was doing the videos, they were doing the friggin' work. It was easy for me to get out 3 a.m. with the cold breath coming off, and you saw that. And those are the little things you learned. But that was my success story to social media, and that's where it took off, and that's where I learned. But that whole team, man, we blew it away, but that's something that I'm very proud of.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. And then you have, and then you have the creator mode, obviously, which we're both in.
Yep.
Just so many cool little features. Now, do you spend more time with it on your desktop or on the app, or is it kind of a mix?
I'm kind of a mix. Like, what I usually do is I like to do a video today. Tomorrow I'll do a posting.
Yeah.
Now I do want to talk to you about, and I'm going to toss it out there to people, called Hero Post. All right. Right now they're a startup company in Canada or California. I think it's California. $197 for lifetime. Now I've used Hootsuite. With Hero Post, you can post as many postings you want anywhere, from your Twitters to even 10 Twitter pages, 30, 40. They're a new company, but you pay that $197 for one-time fee only, and I'm in there for life, baby, because they want to find out all the good things. It's called Hero Post. And when I use that, I'll use that for my LinkedIn and my LinkedIn business page, because now LinkedIn came out again. They're going to start going back towards, they've heard a lot about people saying that having a business page doesn't work as well. So I have one for results podcast. Bring a hire show, right? So what I do is I always post on there. I always go up and then put my YouTube. You can't stream to that. I put my YouTube links on it. And 66 people went to the page last week.
Nice.
So 66 might not sound like a lot, but they weren't there before.
Yeah. No,
So
that's for sure.
they're doing something and they're promoting. So if you have a business page, anybody out there that has a business page, start posting. Don't just let that on there and show 6 months nothing's done by it. Because you can create that, and I'm sure companies have, well, they are the business page, but an employee, maybe they'll let them do that, and post on there.
Yeah. It's funny you say that too, because we're obviously connected on Facebook,
Right.
and I follow your business page on there as well, and
Yep.
I've seen our podcast after a post. But going back to having a business page,
Yeah.
it's free,
Yeah.
and it cracks me up. I feel even if you have 5 employees, if you take literally a couple photos, you gotta have. If you have a company, you're gonna have a logo.
Yeah.
Um, just a little bit about your company, and because it surprises me when I come across companies with 100+ employees, and it'll say ABC company, and then literally it'll have like the location, Jacksonville, Florida, and nothing about the company, nothing about what they
Yeah.
do. And sometimes you'll see like Thomas and Whitaker, and it's like, well, is that a law firm? Is that a construction company? Is that real
Yep.
estate people? Is that a doctor? So people actually will put it on their personal page, but if they own it, they should have a business page. But
Yep.
if not, talk them into doing a business page and be
I
like, hey,
know.
I'll do it for you. It literally will
And
take
it,
you 5 minutes to set up.
and it wouldn't even be about, it doesn't matter what kind of business, because even a trade like a plumber or electrician, can you imagine if you had a really stabilized electrician page on social media with LinkedIn, how many professionals, if you want to say, you got to keep it as professional unit, that have homes, that have businesses, that want to reach out to an electrician? Wow. You don't see a lot of it, and they should be on there. All
Well,
trades, all trades.
and I know it's not Angie's list, but I can
Yeah.
write a review. If I have a company come out and do some plumbing work at my house, they do an excellent job.
Yeah.
Hey, do me a favor, take a couple minutes and write a positive review, and you have control over it. Whereas some of these sites you really don't.
Yep.
LinkedIn, you can control everything somebody posts to you, whether you want to post it or
Yep.
not. So I'm hoping everybody does good work, but if you don't,
Yeah.
you only post the good stuff.
And they endorse it, like you said, you endorse the person, endorse them,
Yeah.
and you endorse me, I've endorsed you. Endorsements are very, I don't care when you get the endorsements. Some people, oh, it doesn't matter. Well, you know what? Then just don't do it then.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason. And do I look at it? Yeah. Especially for volunteer experience. If you look at somebody that volunteers constantly, that tells you something about the person. Really does. If they're into, like,
Absolutely.
I love anything with cancer. I've lost both parents. So anything I DJ, I donate a lot of time to the Cancer Society. And that's just me. 6 to 7 different places, Knights of Columbus, things like that, to where they're big organizations. So American Legions, when you belong to them, that just puts another, star on you, because you belong to some great organizations.
Yeah, for sure. And the volunteering thing is great too, because if you're part of
Yeah.
that group, you can share it. And I
Yeah.
mean, you can go ahead and be like, hey, we're doing a community dog walk for, the Humane Society, or
Right.
whatever, cause is out there. And if it's something you're into, then you just shared it with, depending on how big your network is, it's not just the 150 people in your network, it's them. And then everybody that likes it, it just spreads out like a spider web.
Right. That. And that's no, and it works. And it works. But like we talked about before, don't expect when you start the page that you're going to overnight, you're going to all of a sudden wake up and, you have to put the work into it. 15 minutes a week when you're sitting there watching TV, let me go on LinkedIn, or, like some posts. I kind of try to like people's posts, tag the people. Some people go a little crazy, but tag the people. Like if I see an article that I think you would like, I'll
Yeah.
put your name. I'll put your name because I think you would like it.
Yeah. I've actually, probably not the greatest thing to tell people, but I've connected with people on LinkedIn, and they've been like, hey, Matt, I'm looking for a role. There's an example I have, very specific skill set within accounting and finance.
Right.
And this person was looking for a new role. And I'm like, I don't have any. I could proactively, use your resume to try and, hey, what companies are you interested in? I can bring your resume to them and say, hey, you interested in interviewing this candidate? But there was a company that was in her backyard that was hiring for that. And I tagged her right in that. And then I went back and actually sent her a message. And she reached out and she's like, well, you're not working with them. Why would you tell me about that? I was like, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to help people. You know what I
Yeah, trying
mean?
to help them. And
So,
that's what I like to do on here. I love the part. I wish more people would take advantage of it. And Joe is the gentleman. Is I love bringing one person on and just live interviewing them.
yeah,
I
no,
have
that's,
I have a hard time trying to find people to do that.
yeah,
But I've gotten 8 out of 25 to 30 people jobs out of doing that. So
yeah,
by just talking like me and you, me interviewing you, you're looking for work. Tell me about yourself. Somebody watches that. Bam. That's all it
yeah,
took. You
exactly. I mean,
know?
it's a great idea. You
Yep.
know, I've watched a couple of them where with people on there, and
Yeah.
just like anything, there's times where I don't think we do because I think we talk pretty well with each other and bounce
Right.
back and forth. But there's times where you talk to certain people where it's just like boom, boom, back and forth, like question answer, and it's kind of not
Yep.
conversational. But when you have that person that's out there and willing to put themselves out there, I mean, I don't even know how many people follow you,
Yep.
but I know it's over what 20 some odd thousand.
Yeah. It's getting
Yeah,
higher and higher. It's
yeah, and one person liking that can send it to another 10,000.
that's it.
And then we would have to watch the whole thing. They could be like, oh, it's
Look,
Betty's looking for a job because you put the notes above it,
yeah.
looking for a
Everything
job in
about it.
this. She's looking for either remote or she lives in,
And that's a direct hire fee normally for some people.
correct.
A
That's
straight
exactly
up
what it
direct
is in my world.
here you go, baby. Come on with me. Come on with me. Direct hire,
Yeah,
baby. I'll take it. I mean, I'll take that person looking for a job. Come here.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
and closing it up, what I want to tell people that's watching this, why me and Matt were talking about is, listen, if you have children that are in college or that is when I really believe you need to have them on LinkedIn. If they don't know what LinkedIn is, set them down on a weekend, get them a headshot, start showing them something else besides the Facebook. They know how to do it. They know how to build a profile on LinkedIn. Takes them a little time, but this really, everybody, if your kids aren't on them, they should be. It really opens them up to their whole, like here, the Lehigh Valley, what college you went to, what your training you're going to, how many years experience you have, where you've worked, what you're looking for, your image, everything, your job postings. It goes on and on and on my part. I just believe everybody out there, we're going to have another show on this, is get your children involved with LinkedIn, and they're going to go a long way. So Matt, it's your turn. And
Yeah, no, always a pleasure talking to you. I definitely agree with that. I might steal the idea of doing like a networking happy hour. I think that was the
yeah,
greatest idea ever. But yeah, LinkedIn's a great tool. If most of these people have had phones in their hands that are graduating from college since they were 10 or 12.
yep,
They got TikToks, they got Snapchats, they got all these other social medias.
yep.
15 minutes a week, like you said, LinkedIn. Um, if you're a college student getting ready to graduate, you want a
Oh,
company,
big time, big
you
time.
know, you want to work for a specific company, or even if you're at your internship,
Yep,
you have direct access to the people. You know what their title is. You know what they do.
yep.
You can sit there and request them and be like, hey, I would really like to work for your company. What's the best route to get an interview set up? Who do I need to talk to? If I'm an accountant and I send a message to an accounting manager directly, and they might be like, hey, well, you got to reach out to so and so over in HR, and then we'll
That's
set
it.
up an interview. But that manager is probably going to look at your profile and say, oh, we're in the same fraternity. Oh, we did, something.
That's it. Military,
So,
same thing like that. You said same
yeah.
thing. Doesn't right there, and they do that. Matt, I always like to give you a shout out for what you do too, and everybody, Matt, for what he recruits in, and if you want to take it out on that also, Matt, I love doing that for you.
Yeah, I always appreciate that, Dave. My name's Matt with Aston Carter. I sit out of Jacksonville. I specialize in accounting and finance, consultants and staffing. If you live somewhere else, we're one of the largest staffing companies in the country. reach out to me. If I can't specifically help you, I will try to get your resume in the right hands to find and get you a new role.
And that's what's great about it. All right, Matt. Well, we're gonna be on there. You're gonna be on me with the 11th. We're gonna be on there. I'm gonna have you
we'll
on
be on the 11th.
with this gentleman here. So I think you're gonna enjoy that and really learn a lot from that. So, all right, sir. Thanks everybody again. Get your kids on LinkedIn, and I'll be right back after this. Talk to you soon, Matt. Right after this.
Bye, guys.